She is heading the biotechnology department of University College in the School of Nursing and Applied Sciences. She is having a PhD in 2015 from University, what is it called? Bioscience, and also Master of Science in Biotechnology from UTM, Malaysia. And also she has a long list of publications. She is member of Royal Society of Biology in the UK, and also she has also 6 books of super secret books, and also one of the latest features, that is obesity and its impact on health. So we welcome Dr. Ashita to chairing this session. And our next chairperson is Dr. Elena. Dr. Elena is also from the School of Nursing and Applied Sciences. She is graduated PhD from University Malaya.
Wow.
And she has worked with flow cytometry and few research projects on COVID-19 vaccination. And you know that she has also teaching in different courses such as instrumentation, biophysics, engineering and protein purification technology, biosafety, etc. And her PhD student in nursing have different types of publications you know already if you see her profile. And she is also specialized in anti-cancer and proteomics, natural products, mushroom. She has also demonstrated the mushroom production in the classroom itself, and entrepreneurship cell. She is going to open that the mushroom production in home. So you can contact with Dr. Elena, or if you want to do the entrepreneurship at the community level. So we have to start for the community. So if they can produce the mushroom at the home level, and you know the Chinese students, they all prepare the mushroom at the lab and eat by themselves with Dr. Elena. So we welcome Dr. Elena as well for chairing the session. So now I hand over the microphone to Dr. Elena and Dr. Ashita to conduct the session. Thank you.
Okay, Assalamualaikum and welcome everyone. So you can just start, yeah?
Yes.
Now I would like to call upon our first presenter, Supriyati. Okay, please come in front. Okay, for Supriyati, she will be deliver on the topic entitled User Satisfaction of a Mobile Application for Baby Massage and its impact on caregiver knowledge and skill.
Hello.
Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, I'm Supriyatin. On behalf and I will learn to the consist of Associate Prof. Rehidab Sudioso and Prof. Datin Dr. Hafizah Sehasan. We would like to present our work with the title User Satisfaction of a Mobile Health Application for Baby Massage and its impact on caregiver knowledge and skill. So let's begin from the background first. As we know, there are many benefits of infant massage, which are the 3 physical development, emotional bonding, and stress reduction. Physical physical development, regular massage treatment improve newborn growth, enhance blood flow, and support neuromuscular system development. Studies show significant improvement in digestive capacity and overall physical development in infant receiving regular massage. And second, emotional bonding. So infant massage stimulate oxytocin production, hormone tied to bonding and stress reduction for both caregiver and babies. This strengthens the emotional connection and created foundation for secure attachment. And the last, stress reduction. Research demonstrate the consistent massage help reduce stress in newborn, leading to improved sleep pattern and overall well-being. Is created a positive cycle of better rest and development. The knowledge gap, according to the background and the problem that I really mentioned before, so this research is the knowledge gap. Deposit the well document benefit of infant massage. Many caregivers feel unafraid or lack confidence in perform the technique correctly, and the need for accessibility evidence-based instructional maternity that can reach a wide audience of caregivers. And the knowledge gap, traditional learning method like written instruction or in-person education have limited and reach. And so the research mobile health application offer a promising solution to bridge this gap by providing immediate, cost-effective and accessibility learning environment that allow users to acquire knowledge and skill at their own pace. The rise of mHealth application, mobile health application, the traditional healthcare, digital transformation, maternal child health application, and infant massage opportunity. And the research gap, the first limited research, is few study on mobile application for infant massage. And the second, traditional focus, the exciting study, primary examine, writing or present education. And the third, evaluation need necessity to exist user certification and knowledge development. And the last, safety concern, risk of contradict or misinformation affecting infant health. Okay. So while the benefit of infant massage are well documented, little research has been conducted of smartphone designed especially to each caregiver provide massage technique. This gap in literature highlight the from evaluated infant massage application for both user certification and their effective in improving caregiver knowledge skill. Study objective, the first primary objective to determine user certification with mobile application designed for infant massage education and assess its impact and caregiver knowledge and practical skill. And knowledge assessment, the measure.
Sorry, I think you need to make it fast.
Oh, okay.
It's already 5 minutes.
Okay.
So can give extra 1 minute. Try to summarize everything.
Okay,
Thank you.
Next, study design, the pretest, post-test, the research article, the pretest, process, methodology, asset, change in caregiver knowledge and skill following. And participant collect, participant primary caregiver infant age 0 until 12 sample size, power analysis determine a minimum sample 34 participants with 20% and for potential dropout. This target simple was 42 participants recruited purposive sampling. Ethical clearance, ethical approval, was obtained from institutional review forum of STIKEP PPNI Jawa Barat, advanced to ethical standard as from human research. This is a research instrument. I'm user certification questionnaire, knowledge assessment tool, then infant massa skill checklist. And study procedure, the first we use recruitment, intervention, post-assessment, and feedback collection. This participant demography.
Can you please go to the completion slide, please?
Okay, completion. This is a completion for interactive video incorporating real-time feedback and gamification element called enhanced user engagement and motivation. Research by Sabi et al. 2021 so that help apply application significantly improve use attendance and learning outcome and multilingual support. Expanding the application to include multiple language option will make it accessible to wide audience, addressing language barriers and then often higher access to educational research in diverse communities. And the last, personalized content, integrated personalized recommend based on user projects. So this study provides complaint evidence mobile application for infant masses can significantly enhance caregiver knowledge. Thank you.
Thank you. Any question from the floor? Okay, please.
Okay. Miss Atin,
Yes.
it's interesting and helpful presentation. I'd like to ask, maybe you can explain about the clinical impact implication of for this research for society maybe.
Implication.
Yeah, clinical implication.
Okay, this educational base is mobile application can be effective tool in maternal and child health practice. So especially to support caregiver who do not have access to formal learning. Yes.
So the application in the caregiver.
Yes,
Yes.
caregiver. For caregiver, like mother or father.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so thank you, Ms. Supriyati. Supriyati. Okay, thank you. Okay, we shall proceed to our next presenter, Mr. Hassan Muhammad Hamid. Okay, so please kindly take note. You have only 5 minutes for the presentation, and then we just allow like one question from the audience, right?
Hassan Muhammad Hamid.
Sige, okay mo yan tungkol.
Ini kayak suami saya berdiri.
Umur lang.
Iya, badannya bodinya mirip. Sedih ya suami saya. Oh iya, dia palingnya gue.
Orangnya tiap tak ada orang.
Ya, aja.
Dia nak duduk belakang.
Yes.
This is bro. Empat you.
Di carry kamera. It's okay.
Okay. Okay.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Today I want to present my work. It's about pollution of dye. The first thing is about the fabrication of material from biomass with food grade algae. Biomass like biopolymer, sorry, from the biopolymer with food grade algae by hydrothermal process. and trying it to absorption of dye, of the methyl violet dye. First, my name, and I am introduce myself from UITM University. I already did my PhD, first of this year, and now I'm interested about biopolymer and biomass research. The introduction, as we know, the dye is the main pollutant that's discharged in the environment, and it consists of almost 54 from the textile industry, and that dye have many side effects in the environment, like the human being or the ecology and the aquatic animals and the plant species. All this effect make this topic is important for everyone in the world. Methyl violet, as we see, this is the cationic dye, and it's considered one of the more hard to remove it from the environment, from aquatic environment, because of many side effects of this methyl violet. Chitosan is a biopolymer. This biopolymer is the second available in the world after the cellulose. It's extracted by distillation from the chitin. That we can get from the extracted from the exoskeleton of the shells and shrimps and crabs and many types of the advantage of the chitosan is the first is about the availability, non-toxicity, and also have a lot of functional group like the amino and hydroxy. But have also this advantage like swelling, like low mechanical and low surface area. That's why the aim of this work is to improve the chitosan by using the biomass. The biomass is algae. The algae is contain many type of functional group like amino group, like hydroxy, like carboxy, like phosphate. All this group can improve the chitosan and improve the surface area of the chitosan. The problem statement is about the discharge of the dye, and the second is about the problem of the chitosan, and the third is about overgrowth of algae. All this considered the objective of this work is the synthesis, identify and optimize. Synthesis the new material that can absorb the dye from the environment, aquatic environment, identify the physical and the properties, and optimize by using RSM and BBD. The methodology will contain the materials and composite and characterization and experimental design. Here we can see the materials that used in this study, and the preparation start with mixing the food grade algae with chitosan by acetic acid. After that, drop the mixture in the NaOH liquid, and after that washing to natural pH. The next step is the hydrothermal cross-linking. The hydrothermal using the hydrothermal reactor by putting put the beads of chitosan and algae inside the reactor and put it in the oven for 12 hours, and after that grind it and get the powder that we use for absorption. Characterization, the characterization use this XRD, FTIR, PET, CHNS, CHNO, and also PHPZC. Experimental design will first start with the preliminary test. After that, go to the 3 level of factors that we make it with dose and pH and time, and after that to generate the PBD. Sorry, for the other study include also the kinetic, the isotherm, and the absorption of the absorption thermodynamic. The result, we can see the result for this study here. We can see how the change in the CHNO, how the elements, how it's changed after make the composite. Also the PET, we can see the surface area, and PHPZC for the material, and XRD, and FTIR, we can see the FTIR, it's changed from before and after absorption. For the efficient also, we can see here in the efficient image, we can see the change after the absorption. Here we can see the optimization steps, and we take the best value and use it for the concentration study for the next step. And this is the statistical validation by the BBD, and also the BD and corrected for the parameters. Here we can see the concentration study, how it's continue until 220 minutes, and we see the adsorption kinetic is follow for pseudo-second order, and the adsorption isotherm is follow Friendlich with Langmuir 122 milligram per gram.
1 more minute.
Okay. Here also we can see the thermodynamic and the mechanism and the reusability. Many functional group is sharing in this mechanism, and also the reusability of the materials. We can improve it with using another cross-linker or grafting agent also. The conclusion, we already synthesized the materials and already make the characterization for this material, and after that we see it's follow the Friendlich, and the Langmuir it's 120 milligram per gram, and kinetic study follow the pseudo-second order. Here is the references, and thank you so much for your listening.
So, any question from the audience? No. Okay, may I ask one question? Okay, so from your research study, how much improvement that you find out from the optimization?
Actually, I use many types of the cross-linker. For this cross-linker, if we compare with just chitosan with algae, it's considered almost 70%.
So 70% improvement.
Improvement, yeah. Because the chitosan, that's all not work with
But
this
it's not
type.
very high improvement.
Yeah, high improvement actually. Because the chitosan is easy to modification. This feature of chitosan, that's why it's easy to improve it.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So, yeah, shall we proceed with our next presenter?
Karishma.
Thank you.
Karishma is here? Karishma tak ada? You are the next one, right? Karishma. So her topic on the effectiveness of web-based health promotion media on improving knowledge and early detection of mental health at primary healthcare centers in Pekanbaru, Indonesia.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everybody. Are you happy?
Yes, I'm
Nice
happy.
meeting from you. I want to see you about my team topic. I joined.
Is any
my team with Karisma.
Your name?
Amy.
Amy,
Amy Leonita.
Okay.
The effectiveness of web-based health promotion media, health knowledge and early detection and mental health and primary health care center in Pekanbaru City, Indonesia. The background is early detection of mental health disorder less than 40%. And the Indonesia operate an early detection of mental health disorder in less than 15%. Then the Langsa Public Health number of people with severe mental disorder is less than 12.48%. Local of mental health service where all the people with mental disorder and the other obstacles include limited budget and lack human resources. My objective research is identify the difference in attitude before and after health promotion through digital website at Lancet Public Health Center in 29-25. To identify the difference in knowledge before and after health promotion through digital website at Lancet Public Health Center in 1925. 3. Describe respondent characteristic and frequency distribution of the respondent who conduct early detection of mental health disorder at Lancet Public Health Center. My research method is quantitative question experiment, pretest of post test and equivalent group design. The sample is 40 samples, total 100 people who 50 experimental and 50 control. This is the media for mental health education. This website and television and the traditional media to promote health promotion. Result is average height is age 47.94 years with median 49 years. Majority are female. Then education mostly senior high school and most common occupation is housewife. Different result before intervention is most respondent had low knowledge intervention is group 42% control group. And screening, 7% of respondents did screening after intervention with hygiene proportion in control group. In Wilcoxon test, both groups show significant change, but greater attitude improvement seen in intervention group screening. And the Mann-Whitney test, no significant difference in knowledge and attitude variable between groups, but the website and television media are particularly effective in improving knowledge and shaping public attitude. For screening, television media slightly outperform website media. Before intervention, limit basic knowledge is mental health. After website or media, significant interest in understanding mental health concept. After television, moderate interest in symptom recognition. Conclusion, my conclusion and suggestion, website and TV equally effective in improve knowledge, attitude, and including screening interest. Media combination but can be complex. Future development, promote the use website media, apply combined health promotion media to improve public knowledge and attitude. Then future develop digital-based mental health promotion media. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Amy. Any questions from the floor? Okay, please proceed.
Yes, ma'am. Sorry, I don't hear. Oh, barrier.
Challenges.
Challenges. Okay. I want I want to explain to your question. The barrier to challenge the website in health promotion media is first the limited digital literacy in individual, actually the older adult, and the second, inadequate internet access actually to the rural area. Then the lack competency, the hard worker to motivation use the this innovation. Okay, I think that is my explain. Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Okay, I just wonder, okay, because like from your slide just now, you mentioned that the research work is being conducted in Langsat Health
Yes.
Center.
Yeah.
So is this considered in Pekanbaru City?
Yes,
Is this
the
one of the health center in Pekanbaru City?
yeah, one of the public health center in Pekanbaru. I choose one public health center.
You just one
Yeah.
health center.
Yeah.
See why?
Yeah.
May I know?
Because the hazard, the mental health problem. Yeah.
So my recommendation is that because from your title you mentioned about these studies being conducted in primary healthcare centers. So maybe because you just focus on this Langsat Public Health Center, maybe you can just mention this Langsat Public Health Center.
Okay.
Alright?
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay.
Right. So can we proceed to our next presenter, who is Wahyu Arisandi. Alright. So his topic is a data mining approach to predicting childbirth outcomes in pregnant women using the knife Bayes algorithm.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good listening. Please introduce myself. My name is Wahyu Arisandi, and I collaborate with Fajar Sari Tanggerika and Dadang Sari Syabudin Sahib. I want to present our paper, a data mining approach to predicting childbirth outcomes in pregnant women using the naive Bayes algorithm. background of this research is Indonesia have MMR in 189 per 100,000 live births in 2022. Global concern still far from SDG and nearly 3 times of Indonesian MMR rate. The key cause is complication during the childbirth. Largely is preventable, and we need early detection and to come to intervention the MMR rising. This research proposed to improve the risk identification and aids clinical decision making, help prioritize the high risk case, and support the personalized treatment, especially in low resource settings. And the objective is to develop a predictive model using the naive Bayes algorithm to determine labor status in pregnant women. We use 600 pregnant women as a data set to training and testing the algorithm. Feature is we use age, blood pressure, fetal heart rate, nutritional status, and medical history. And we split the data 80% for training and 20% for testing the naive Bayes algorithm. Naive Bayes is a machine learning algorithm based on Bayes theorem, which calculates probability and even based on prior knowledge. The naive Bayes simplicity and efficiency handles categorical and numerical feature well, effective on a small to medium data set, and probabilistic is interpretable, ideal, and is ideal for clinical use. This is a naive Bayes code script we process in Google Colab using a Python language program. And we can see the confusion metric can predict the data we input to and have accuracy in 98.33%. This is the evaluation metric. From 84 normal case predicted correctly and 34 high risk case predicted correctly. 2 high risk case predicted as normal. So the accuracy of the naive Bayes is 98.33%, and the precision is 100%. The conclusion is the naive Bayes model shows strong potential as a clinical decision to support tool, can assist in early identification of the high-risk childbirth, a practical solution for improving maternal health outcomes. And the recommendation is adding more real-world data, so we can test the model against the other algorithm. And we can use the tool to work with the hospital or public health service. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there any question from the floor?
Maybe I want to question for you what some application for naive Bayes to healthcare, and then can naive Bayes ini predict disease for diagnosis?
naive bias can be used to other health care or other health disease. This can be classifying patient or predicting treatment outcomes or to detecting anomalies in the patient and analyzing the risk of factors. And naive bias can predict disease likelihood based on symptoms or and risk factors. Thank you.
Okay, we have another question from Prof. Saiful.
Yes.
Hi, from your 600 cases, how many are normal? How many have complications? What complications do you have? And how many of your 120 cases that you train on? How many the cases that you've actually used to predict? How many have actually the cases that you have predicted they have complications? The actual complications that you have they are high risk cases. When you say high risk, what type of high risk? When you so-called high risk, there are many types of high risk. You have to stratify your high risk. What are the stratifications of the high risk?
In naive bias, we have 600 line data pregnant women, and we train that naive bias to record the learning from the data and to test. The data has a column that status that the patient is normal or high risk.
Yes.
So I read the data.
From the high risk, the data, from the 600, okay, which one is when the high risk, okay, the high risk ones, how you stratify it or coordinate it, because when the high risk can be just simple as hypertension, can be as difficult as placental abruption, can be many different types of high risk pregnancy. Okay, when you have placental abruption, that's very high risk, and the high risk can be just as simple as just hypertension.
Yes.
You have many. How you stratify that? And I don't see that. You just say high risk only.
Okay.
In clinical line, we don't just say high risk. You stratify it.
Yes.
I don't see that stratification. And then when you put the high risk, you see, if you're a clinician, we don't just say high risk or normal. Okay, I don't see that there. The information is just not there. And then, so you just simplify the data that to me is meaningless.
Okay. We can. Thank you, Professor, your response. But in the data science, we can. One of the method is classified.
Yes.
The classified is to make simple categories, and we have categories normal and high risk. So there is a range to be called normal, and there is a range to be called high risk. So we can, in data science like Python, we can describe more descriptive. They use of a data numeric and data classified.
Yes, but give me the information. Give me what you mean by, but give me more data, because when your high risk is, you see what I mean? Right now you just say high risk. It doesn't give me much information for me to see whether your data is meaningful. To you say high risk is just high risk. For a clinician, you say this is for us to be able to use to see for us for clinical use. For us, is meaningless. It has no use for us in a clinical point, because for us to be able to use in a hospital, you have to stratify for us.
Yes.
High risk is for what? At what level?
Excuse me, Professor. We use data that has been all time. No data predictive to future. This data, the woman's status, high risk and normal, has been on the data. So we build the model based on data, and we had testing. Just the predictive is accuracy, high accuracy. So
this has no predictive function.
no,
this is
for but the future. So I can show your. The conclusion is model shows strong potential as a clinical decision support tool. So the data is data past tense, old data that the woman pregnant have the status normal or high risk. This is not prediction for the future, but we can use this methodology algorithm to more improvise, to more adding, we can test the model against the other algorithm for the future. We just build the model based on the data, the old data. This is the
okay, it's an initial.
Alright, then we should stop outside.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, bro.
Can have further discussion for this one. Thank you so much. Okay, now we shall proceed with our next presenter, Miss Rosie Deli Fitra. Do we have Miss Rosie Deli Fitra? Okay. So the topic for the presentation today is the development of marketing strategies using SWOT analysis to increase outpatient visits at a military hospital in Pekanbaru.